We're live. We have a terrible webcam tonight because I can't get the regular cam working. But we're live.
We're live, and we got a cat.
And James, you're just called in because I can't figure out how to stream you on the OBS.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably just join via the chat here.
You definitely should join via the chat. So go ahead and just join us so you know what's going on. So Redbeard is on. Hello, Redbeard, and welcome to the Barrel Buddies.
Yeah.
I'm BJ, and joining us live from Boston is James. Say hello, James.
Hello.
And of course, for those of you who are intuitive enough to see, we also have our very good friend, the Robin Hood of Wall Street, Greg Mannarino.
Hello. How we doing, everybody?
Oh, you are on a real dog shit camera.
We're on a dog shit camera tonight. I'm sorry.
But we have a cat.
We have the Bourbon Cat. Ooh. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Redbeard. Thanks for joining us tonight. And hello to everyone else. If you haven't jumped into the chat tonight, we're a little different, as you may see. I'm running the chat this evening, and James will be participating in the chat. So that's going to be a fun new thing. And tonight, we have picked for your tasting and viewing pleasure the Glenallachie 15-year. Thanks to our good friend, Redbeard. Redbeard turned us on to the Glenallachie. And I said, Greg, pick any bottle you want. And he said, I want this. Look at the color. It's so beautiful.
That's exactly what I said. It is a beautiful color. I want to drink it.
That's what he said. Here, I'm gonna scooch here so that we can get you there live there. So pretty excited. Hey yo, James, the Barrel Buddy says. So we're really excited to have you here. Hey, Patrick saying Barrel Buddies. That's right. It's time for Whiskey Wednesday, which tonight it's not a whiskey. We're drinking a scotch. A scotch. James, you wanna dig in there and tell us what's the difference between a scotch and a whiskey and a bourbon and all that fun whiskey knowledge you got?
Hang tight. I'm having some connectivity issues here, so can you guys hear me?
Oh
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you fine.
Okay. All right. So there's a couple things, right? So what you need to know is you basically have your scotches, right? Which is pretty much, a whiskey that's made from a mash of malted barley for your single malt scotches. And then you have your blended scotches, which is basically two types of whiskey, which is usually a barrel-aged malt whiskey or a grain whiskey. So those are your blends right there, right? And then your bourbons and whiskeys made in the United States are typically from Kentucky, Indiana, or Tennessee. And specifically, if they're bourbon, then they are distilled in Kentucky. However, it's debatable because some people do say that you do not need to be in Bourbon County to be called a bourbon, which we may have to have a show about that. It's kind of a big deal. So
yeah, jump into the chat there. Redbeard writes, Scotch is whiskey, laughing out loud. You mean not a bourbon?
I mean, the primary grain in Scotch, though, is barley. So your primary grain in bourbons is either corn or, it's not barley. So I guess it's debatable, right? I mean, I think that's one of the biggest questions, and we really should do an entire show on that because I think it's a really big question.
Sure.
And and you think about it, right? So Scotch, I would almost say notoriously is known to be smoky, right? So that comes from the process of the barley that's malted and heated. So you're getting that smokiness. Well, and then, there's peat and other things that are added to it. But then if you turn to American bourbons and whiskeys, you need at least 51% corn mash, which makes it a bourbon and whiskey. So those are your big differences, really. If it's 51% corn, it's a bourbon whiskey. If it's a scotch, it's barley.
Yeah.
Simple as that, really.
Thank you.
And
And then
down at its base, right down at its like base level.
some other fun stuff that we learned and that we talked about.
Bourbon County or the Bourbon Trail or MGP juice, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's debatable.
Well, some other stuff that we had learned about and we talked about even a couple shows ago. If you'd missed out, we definitely want you to go back. Was that whiskeys? You know, a lot of whiskeys too can be put into used barrels, so you can barrel age whiskeys into used barrels. Bourbon itself, though, then, but you can also, if you put a barrel or a whiskey into a new barrel, that also constitutes it as a bourbon. So that was a pretty interesting. It's fun to run the chat, so we got some fun stuff going into the chat. Mario Velasquez says, waiting for a new stimmy check so I can buy some Jack. That's pretty funny. And Greg, you're getting called out in the chat for not giving your viewers a heads up that you were coming on tonight's show. So surprise!
Exactly. You know, from a learning perspective.
Yeah, give a talk. I've got to go get some glasses.
So
we're starting early tonight.
Well,
yeah, clean up that cat shit, will you?
The cat shit, by the way, people, it stinks in here. I wonder if that's gonna
clean up the cat shit.
I wonder if that's going to affect the taste of the whiskey combined with the cat shit. What do you think? I don't think it's going to. The nose is going to get affected by the cat shit, so it's going to change the taste of the whiskey, right? That would make sense to me. But I don't know. I'll let you know. You still there?
Yep. I was explaining to our chat that I left to Boston and my cat took a big shit in the middle of the room in protest to me leaving. So unfortunately,
maybe she's protesting that I'm here because I don't know if the cat likes me.
And BJ and Greg were like, "Oh, well, we're going to go over to my place to have the show because we have the Barrel Buddies production facility at my house," and they're greeted by a big pile of stinking cat shit. So,
upon further review, I actually think it's a giant nasty hairball, but hairball, cat shit, it all comes from the same gullet.
No, it smells like shit. I smell it. I was wondering if it's going to affect us as we're tasting.
Oh, I think it might. It might.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, this is good stuff. Oh, yeah, this is some good stuff. Some good chat stuff. All right, well, tonight we've got quite a treat. For those of you that have not, for those of you that have not watched into some other shows, our very good friend who is in the chat tonight, Redbeards Racing, had recommended to us a very beautiful scotch, a really nice scotch whiskey, the Glenallachie. And so we've had the Glenallachie 10-year, and it was liquid honey. I mean, it was just beautiful. So beautiful. And so we liked it so much that we started talking to some of our alcohol procurers here in Las Vegas and said, hey, we really need to start getting our own income here, basically, of Glenallachie. You guys got to start bringing this in for us. So
they just got it in recently, right? So the distro has been, they just got the 10-year. Like, I think Redbeard sent us a bottle probably a month or two before the Vegas market even saw any of it. And
absolutely.
Then they
not
got
blown
10.
up.
The 10 did very well. And then the 12 and 15 showed up, and everyone's like, stop the press. Where did these come from? And they are flying so under the radar at a beautiful price point right now. And if you want to show the bottle, maybe do a little bottle presentation on the screen. Glenallachie, maybe we spell it for the crew out there. It's incredible whiskey. Scotch. Sorry. Apologies.
Scotch whiskey.
Go get it. I mean, I think we're looking at, I don't even know how much the price point. Well, that's the 15, right?
So this is the 15. So what was the price point on this?
So the 15, I want to say, was $100, like 99.
That's a steal for good quality whiskey right now.
Yeah.
Because you're paying the tariffs. The tariffs right now on whiskey are really, really high. So
well, they've. I mean, actually, it's played out in our favor because those tariffs have dropped significantly. So I've seen probably about a 20% price decrease in Scotch. So imports have gone down quite a bit. I like Patrick's statement. Pull a bottle off the shelf behind you and start drinking it. Nothing James can do about it.
I was just going to say, going into the chat really quick. So Greg, flying under the radar, you've really set off the lions and lionesses here this evening.
It's a literal shit show. I like how
Quantum Chad here is saying that it's a literal shit show, and you're used to saying shit on the show quite a bit.
I think I said that today. Shit.
Yeah, it sounds like you did.
Dog shit.
Redbeard says his investment whiskey has gone up 300%, but can't say the same for the U.S. dollar. Thanks, Yellow Stain. Duh. Then Quantum Chat also takes note of the beautiful Barrel Buddies collection in the background here in the Barrel Buddies studio. Patrick calling us out, pull the bottle off the shelf behind you and start drinking it. Nothing James can do about it. Well, that's a fact. Yo, Jackie Black, way to join in.
Hey, Jackie Black, how's it going, bud?
So this is a beautiful 15-year, the Glenallachie. Literally, Glenallachie translates to Valley of the Rocks. Because of where it comes from. This is a Speyside, and so it's coming from a rocky geological area there in Scotland. And this is coming in at 46%, a natural from the barrel color. Again, a really nice dark amber color, if you could see that there in the bottle. Really, 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 really nice.
That's why I chose it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Super Smoky. I didn't mean to skim over you. Shout out to Greg Mannarino. I totally missed it. What a legend. Shout out to Greg Mannarino. And I'm so sorry there, Super Smoky. Lots going on in the chat tonight, and I'm inexperienced at running the chat. Not usually my bag, baby. So apologies there. So yeah, we're getting into this. So the last time we did the 10-year liquid honey, really big Scotch flavors, not a lot of smoke, but we had talked about the 5 regions of Scotch. I'm going to try and remember them: Highland, Lowland, Speyside. The is it Cooperston? Help me out there, James.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The five regions for Scotch.
Campbelltown.
Campbellton.
Yeah, Campbellton, sorry.
So you got Lowland, Highland, Speyside, Campbellton. Thank you. Redbeard's got it. And then there's a 5th one. Isla. Well, how can I forget my favorite? Isla. And they all have their own individual tasting notes. Now, Highland is supposed to be the everyman Scotch. Speyside is supposed to be a little bit more on the full-bodied, sweet and smoky style. So, Trader Chad saying Lola? I think it's Lowland. Redbeard counting out the Isla. Yep. Thank you, Quantum Chad, for the shout out. Doing good there. Sigma males in the chat voice. I don't know what that means. Jura, Orkney, Isle of Skye. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Jura is great.
Iowa. Okay. Question for Greg. AMC, hot or not?
Oh God, I'm not touching that stuff. I haven't touched it, guys and girls. The truth is, people ask me about this all the time. I really only talk about assets that I own. I don't, like, for example, people would say, "Oh, Greg, talk about the minors." I don't own any minors. All the stuff I talk about is stuff I own. People getting involved in that. Some people making a lot of money. Some people losing a lot of money. It's not my thing. So I don't want to steer you wrong on that.
Fair enough.
Hey, can we have a shout out to Bourbon Cat?
Another shout out here to Bourbon Cat, the John Boo. is joining us there. Well, let's cheers into this. For all of you that are into it, a solid cheers to all of you on this Whiskey Wednesday. And Greg Mannarino, thanks for being here with us this evening.
Here.
Oh, what a nose.
Yeah,
holy cow, what a nose. Out there to Trader Chad, AMC is cat shit if you've been on this. If you've been on the show long enough. Boz Bay, cheers to you as well. And then Redbeard, Talisker is the only distillery on the Isle of Skye. Highland Park is on Orkney. You know, I've heard really good things on Talisker, but I have to admit, I've not had Talisker. If I have, it was like one time and I was not old enough or wise enough to appreciate it. Greg, what are you getting on the nose in this? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm trying to smell it over the cat shit. But
we've cleaned up the cat shit.
Let me see.
Maybe light some Palo Santo, really clear that out.
Oh, now there's another strong scent.
I'm getting like a mapley kind of thing going on here.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I get like a caramel maple syrup.
That's exactly
really
right.
Hey, so that really quick, that's the 15, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry puncheons.
Very mapley,
so
caramel.
You're going to get a very rich, sweet spice, raisins, sultanas, butterscotch.
There's another one. Whoa.
You're going to get that like orange peel, dark chocolate. You're really going to get a lot of that sherry profile that's going to come through in that.
You know, it's funny that you say that.
Going to not only be into the nose, but you're going to get that into the taste of that thick, rich sherry flavor is going to come out.
I love
of
the
that
color.
Sitting in
the color is
these
striking.
barrels for 15 years.
You know, this color is almost pure red. The color really is almost a red. I mean, it's amber. It is like the color of a lovely lady's hair. I mean, it's just beautiful color.
I love the what is it called? Like it's not syrupy. It's not too liquidy.
It's viscous.
It's viscous, but not overly viscous.
No, you know, it's funny.
Have you guys gotten to the taste yet or not yet?
No,
not yet. So
okay.
Yeah, it is interesting. It does have a nice viscous layer to it. It almost so James, you were talking about it being aged in sherry puncheons. So it does have that sherry, that classic cordially sherry back in, that earthiness, but it also has that look to it. You know, it looks a little thicker than your traditional alcoholic beverage here. And
so believe it or not, that was actually a knock. So a few big dick reviewers out there knocked it for saying that it was too one-sided on the sherry notes, and it kind of pushed away the base scotch that Glenallachie is known for. So I'm very curious as to if you guys get that as well. Do you think it's overpowering sherry, or is it kind of just enough? And to be honest, I've only sipped that 15. I don't know a lot about it. I'd like to revisit it again. I wish I was there with you guys, but I'm curious to what your guys' thoughts are.
So I don't like sherry. Sherry is not one of my things. But I enjoy whiskey that is aged in sherry. Just like I really enjoy a beer that is aged in a sherry cask, because I think there's a sweet, earthy note that ages well with some of the more strong standing spirits out there, like a whiskey or a really big stouty beer. This first taste is kind of soft.
Yeah, smooth.
It's kind of soft. So we'll see kind of what's going on there. Quantum Chad says, can you teach us a bit about selecting a scotch, peaty, malty, etc.? Redbeard joins in asking if he's ever had a peated whiskey before. Sherry bombs are one of my favorite dessert drams. Yeah, again, anything that's aged in a sherry cask I find usually is good, but typically sherry, I'm not a big fan.
I do get the sherry in here.
Bombs, my personal opinion, Cavalon, and we might have a bottle in the glass cabinet behind you, Beach, but the Cavalon cask strength is a sherry bomb. And I don't know if you're getting similarities into this. So this Glenallachie is nowhere near as hot as the Cavalon because that's bottled at a cask strength. But I'm interested to see your guys' opinions on this one.
So here's what I like about this so far. So I've gone into my 3 sips here.
And hold on, can you give us some stats? What's the ABV? What are we coming in at? What's
This is 46%.
What was that? Didn't catch that.
46%.
Okay.
I'm getting like a buttery taste.
Buttery, yeah, like a brown butter, and I think that goes back to some of that caramel note that was earlier, smelled. But I'm getting like that brown butter. I think that this is a little soft. It's not as sweet as the 10-year. I think the 10-year was. When we say it was liquid honey, it was liquid honey. This definitely, it does carry a little bit more of the sherry note, but I think it also carries a lot more of the Scotch whiskey note. This to me tastes more like a Scotch whiskey. It's very malty, which I actually do enjoy. To me, this is, so like the 10-year is more like a summertime, springtime. This to me drinks a little more wintry, late fall.
It's funny that you say that. Are you getting a slight cinnamony taste from this?
Yeah, a little baker's spice.
Yes, absolutely. So that would make it more of a wintry kind of thing. I agree, 100%.
Yeah. No, this is good. So James had brought up the Kavalan as being a sherry cask. I think that's made in Taiwan, and it's hot. If I recall, the last time we had the sherry cask Kavalan, it's very good, but it is so hot you can't pick out some of these more delicate notes that are in this particular Scotch.
Let's see what else we can find in here.
But again, when I say soft, I don't mean like it's not burning the inside of your mouth and making you feel awful.
No.
I'm saying soft as in it's got a really delicate flavor profile. It's very good, but a lot of the little intricacies of the flavor profile here, I think they're really hidden. They're really light. Everything is really light. It's not heavy and weighted down by
That's a good way to put it.
the alcohol.
Light, exactly.
It's actually really light.
Layers of light.
And it is layered. That's a great way to put it. Very layered, very delicate. And I think that if you're drinking this 15-year, it's going to be one of those that you sip on and that you really do. I think you're going to enjoy and find some nice notes. So I think the more we drink this, the more we're going to find some things. I think the baking spice was a good call out. Yeah. The butter is a great call out. Sure. Definitely not as sweet. I'm also picking up some coffee notes, some light coffee notes. So, yeah, when you get back, James,
definitely
this is going to be one that you got to jump in on, man.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one.
So getting back into the chat here, Redbeard, as the true connoisseur that you are, you call out the Kavalan Solist. Quantum Chad is saying, Redbeard, so I like whiskey, but I'm a newbie. And says that Lefroy is peaty, if I recall. Meet John Doe saying, all right, I have my glass. I'm ready. Yeah, get ready. Come on, Meet John Doe. JB Coyne saying, what up, Gregory M? You're my daily watch. Take it easy. Cheers. Thanks for joining us tonight. And Redbeard coming back with a little chat wisdom, stating that Johnny Walker Black Label is an easy intro into peat. Also, Talisker 10. It's a medicinal peat like iodine, sea spray, and I think a touch of lemon.
Yeah, Talisker 10s I think is a good entry level. Same with Johnny Black. I mean, Johnny Black is one of those blended whiskeys that you can get everywhere, right? I mean, Johnny Black you can get at 7-Eleven, and you can get a half, you can get a pint, you can get a 375, you can get a little guy of it just to try it. And it's at a very affordable price point. I think with the Glenallachie here, unfortunately, it is allocated $100-ish price point. I think it is out there, but I wouldn't say that it's readily available. You'll probably have to hunt for this. It did win a lot of awards recently, 2020, 2021. It won a few of the International Spirits Awards, some of the Scotch Awards. It's won in the San Francisco Awards. It has a few medals. I think even on the box, you'll probably see a couple of the medals. But highly recommended. But just talking Scotch in general, I do like Redbeard's recommendations. So Johnny Walker Black is a great intro into peat, smoke more so. It's very faint and subtle. And I think Johnny Walker's at an ABV that's very approachable. So
Yeah, and like you said, very very accessible. It's easy to get. So I would also throw out there Oban, maybe not as accessible, but I think Oban has a great peatiness and is a nice stand-up Scotch.
I mean, most like I would say like restaurants have Oban. I mean, you can get I mean, I've seen it pretty much on the shelf at most bars. You'll see it on there. They'll consider that a top shelf, but they'll have it.
Yeah. And, you know, the price point on that is typically 65 to 75, depending on where you're going, and that's a pretty decent price. Although with tariffs, you probably see Oban going back up closer. Well, that was prior to tariffs, so I'm guessing you probably see that more in the 90 to 95 range.
Yeah, and I think someone mentioned Lefroy earlier in the chat. I think that's another entry level that you can pretty much find everywhere as well.
Pretty smoky Lefroy, if I recall.
Yeah,
very peaty, very smoky. This is good.
I like that though, that liquid campfire, right? I mean, if you guys think of that, if you're out there in the chat and you haven't had a peated Scotch or smoky Scotch, just think of like how a campfire smells. This is how it's going to taste.
Liquid campfire. When we talk liquid campfire, we literally mean like the way a campfire smells, like when you pour water on it, that real smoky, burning wood, burning charcoal. I mean, that's what a good peated whiskey tastes like.
This one's just nice to drink. I like it. It's easy to drink, and it's easy to figure out what's in it, or by breaking it down the layers, like we were just talking about. Yeah,
the more I sip on this, the more I'm getting like a cafe latte or cappuccino. Like I called out coffee, but really what I mean is like a roasty espresso with some milk.
That's it.
Again, delicate layers of flavor. That I really enjoy in this. This is nice.
Nice to just sipping, kind of just chilling back with it. Yeah, I like it too.
This is an easy drinker. This is one of those that you could really sit around and contemplate the universe and enjoy some good time. So
why don't you guys start your ratings here on this? I'm very curious.
All right.
Yeah. Going real quick before we do, I'm going to jump into the chat here. We've got Dom in the Ocean saying, hi, Greg. Hey, Greg.
Hello.
JD Coin coming back to saying, hey, you guys made my night with a cheers toast from Greg. He's truly my financial hero.
Thank you.
All right.
You're my hero. Believe me.
Meet John Doe, Lagavulin. Don't even get me started because I love the Lagavulin. Not a lot of people do.
I want to ask a serious market question since we do have the
Hold on.
Of Wall Street.
We're going to get you there. Hold tight.
Okay, get me there because I got a legitimate question.
So John Weasley saying, hi, Greg. Silver Rules. Have been following you for 3 years. You rock.
Thank you.
This looks like Sickles family. I think that's how you say that. He's saying, F the Fed. Greg, I love you, man.
Love you back. More. Believe me on that.
Lagavulin is owned by Diageo, the makers of Johnny Walker. It is good stuff, and we definitely like Diageo. Suzanne coming in with a hello. So same with Tom here. Tom and Suzanne giving an I love you, and Greg is the man. A nice hello. Shout out from the chat. So, hey, James, what's your financial question for Greg tonight?
So without giving any type of financial advice, I have zero confidence in the trajectory that are the financial, let's just say that the Feds are heading in. So do you say that, I don't even know how to pose this question, right? I basically want to pull a Burry or Barry, or what's the fucking name?
Yeah, Michael Burry.
Wolf of Wall Street, and just short everything over the next 6 months to a year, and just jump into silver and gold. Well, because our inflation, our runaway inflation, and the Fed's buying this shit, and Wells Fargo looking like it's ready to fucking crumble, it worries me. It seriously worries me.
Tangible assets.
It's all hanging by a thread.
Well, you got to be in gold and silver. That's a no-brainer. I've been telling people that since literally I sat down and started talking about this over a decade ago. With regard to the market, look, we're just going to ride the wave. It's so simple. We are in the most simple to make money environment in the history of the universe right now. And I'm telling everyone that if they can keep their eye on the 10-year yield and the dollar, The 10-year yield, more specifically, we're going to know where this market's going to go. It's that easy. Look, the stock market is a derivative of other things, the debt market being number one. So if, in fact, we can watch the 10-year yield in real time, it's very, very simple, 1.26 last time I looked at it, until it starts to spike, until we start to see 1.3, 1.4, 1.7, 1.8, we buy every single dip in this market that comes along. I've been doing this for years, buying every single dip that comes along and making, frankly, retarded amounts of money doing that. There's going to be a time to sell. That time is going to be when the 10-year yield bleeds off and we start seeing that thing spike, when the debt market sells off because it's a hyper bubble. That's the supporting thing behind the market. So we just got to watch that, understand the stock market is a derivative. The stock market is a derivative of the debt market, which is in a hyper bubble. So when the debt bubble bursts, then we get out, then we short it, and we're going to make so much money, it's just going to be, frankly, stupid. So until that point, we're going to buy the dips in everything. We're going to buy the dips in the market. We're going to buy the dips in cryptocurrencies. We're going to buy the dips in precious metals, crude oil. We're just going to buy the damn dips.
Yeah.
Can we get a duh?
Duh!
Let's get a duh.
That's it. I mean, it's just very simple. I'm not going to deviate from this.
That's great.
Duh.
Well, that's a great market recap, Greg. I appreciate it. And we're obviously a whiskey show, so jump into your nose profile, guys.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's jump into some scoring here. As we get
I love it. Look,
chat full of duhs.
Duh!
Duh.
Duh! Oh God! I can't take it.
So we do a scoring profile for those of you that are new. I do see some new faces, new names, some new handles tonight. We do a score rating. We rate in 3 categories. We rate in nose, we rate in palate or taste, and we rate in value. And so we'll start off with some nose. We rate on a score of 0 to 3, 3 being the highest, 0 being you hated it. So we'll start with nose. Greg, what do you think about the nose on this?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I know I'm going to go back to the cat shit here. The nose is a little difficult because I'm still smelling cat shit. So, I mean, but what I can smell...
The Barrel Buddy studio just smells like cat shit.
It's really cat shit.
Thanks, Jamba.
But, I tell you, I guess we'll give it an overall at the end. I really enjoy the nose here. I like it. I'm getting all those little subtle notes that we were talking about before we even tasted it. So I'm what are we, 1 to 3?
1 to 3.
I'm going to give this a strong 2. A strong 2. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so... the ethanol is a little strong on this one, shockingly for 46%. That makes it a 92 proof. But I do really like, there's some brown sugar notes there. I think that there are some really nice caramely, some nice caramel baking notes in there. But you do have to kind of fight through the ethanol. I would be the same in giving this a 2. I mean, it's nothing super special, but it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I think a 2 is pretty respectable there. I think that's great. I'm going to lead off on the taste here. On the taste, I know I'm going to be shorting it a little bit. I should really look at it, on its own. But I'm going to compare it a little bit to the Glenallachie tin, which I thought was magical. This is not as magical. I think the sherry casks, the sherry punchones, really do lend to a really delicate, almost lacy style of flavor. I think the mouthfeel and the viscosity that comes out of the aging process here is really, really pleasant. I think that the extra time in the barrel yields to a really nice color. But I don't know. I think it's enjoyable, but is it something that I'm going to go, oh my God, that's just going to blow my mind and keep me coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back like the 10-year? No. For those reasons, I'm going to give it a 2.
Well, I'm going to tend to agree with you on that. I'm going to think of it on a different kind of a scale here, just real quick, because that's the way my mind works. What I'm going to say, this is I would say like a liquid foreplay versus a liquid sex.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm going to give this a 2.
I like it too. All right, so for $100, you're getting a 15-year aged product coming in from Scotland over the pond. So let's talk value. Would you pay $100? Do you think it's a value to get $100 for this bottle? Again, on that same score rating, you could give it a 0, like absolutely not. You could pour this down the drain. A 3, holy cow, this is a huge value. Well, where do you put value in this?
Well, 100 might be pushing it.
Okay.
I've been pushing a little bit. It's great. I'd like to sit here, and it was fantastic sitting here talking about it, and just drinking it. So I'm gonna say maybe it's a little on the high side, but I'm gonna still say it's a good value.
Okay. So give it a number. What are you feeling?
So it's definitely. I'm gonna stick with the 2 again. I'm kind of a 2 across the board kind of guy with this.
Okay. Yeah, we're right in the middle. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I think $100 is about average for a good scotch these days. There's nothing super special here. I think that the distillery here is probably what would keep me going back to this.
Yeah, but really quick. So think about this, right? Think about what price point Macallan 18 comes in at. Almost $400.
We know, though, that Macallan 18 is so overhyped.
No, but I mean, think about this. You're drinking a $100 15-year that I think has a better flavor profile than Mac 18.
I don't know. That's hard to say because I haven't had Mac 18 in a minute, but I remember really liking Mac 18.
Well, and you got to remember too, they do the triple. I think they do the triple cask, and there's still some of the sherry cask floating around 18 out there. That I mean, the price is blown up on that.
Right.
It's back to like Scotch as an investment. Like, talk about gains right there.
Well, I'm gonna say I would say this. Even today, shout out to Tony Tricoli, who brought in the Glenlivet Caribbean cask, and I reminded my palate about that today, and I think that's a solid steal, and I think that's like $70.
Dude, it's like 50. It's cheap.
It's that's a killer bottle. We should really do that on the show. But him and Han here, enough stalling. I think the Glenallachie, I would give that a 2. Again, I think I'd jump at this because of the distiller and the master distiller who is putting this together. It's a nice product. It's a good blend. I would be glad to drink this among so many other things that are out there. I think that this is a solid scotch.
Definitely.
There is nothing wrong with having this.
No. And
especially now that we can get it here in Vegas. This is a hashtag go getter.
No.
Go getter. Definitely got to put this into your bar. This is not an everyday drinker. This is definitely something that I think is special. I would like to pair this up with some food. There's something about this that makes me just some of those little flavors and things. I'd actually like to put this with some food. I'd also like to consider drinking this with a cigar. I think that this has some high potential for some good cigar pairings. Some of those coffee flavors I think would lend itself really well there. So yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10. No blown away bonus for me tonight. Blown away?
Not blown away, but enjoyed it.
So that's a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. That's pretty solid. That's respectable. That's a go getter. If I saw this, I'd seriously consider buying it for the right price. I'd throw that in a cart, throw that in a basket.
Yeah, I mean, and one of these days, once we're monetized and our fans are able to help kind of fuel the hobby, it jumps up quite a bit, right? So there's a Glenallachie 18, a 21, a 25, and a 30-year.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay, well, it sounds like we need to be on the hunt.
I'd like to try the 30-year maybe. Can we get it?
Sounds like we got to be on the hunt.
Well, just to let our viewers know, please subscribe, hit the bell, get notifications. We appreciate you guys watching us. We're almost to the point where we can start earning some coin at this and buying bottles to review for you guys. So we appreciate your all support out there.
Well, I'm going to jump into the chat here one last time before we call it an evening. We got a shout out from Keon the One. We are sexy beasts. Thank you.
I can't believe that this man is writing. I can't even believe it.
We got a comment here from Me John Doe. Buy the dips. Susan says, James, go PSLV. I don't know what that means, but
PSLV.
You go do that. Sickles Family says physical silver. We know that. If you've been watching the man over here,
Hey, so what? Do I need to just go buy from the mint the
No, you can buy. You can get
$5
physical
stock
silver
up?
delivered right to your freaking door. I've been buying it for like I don't even know how many years now from a place called APMEX, American Precious Metals Exchange. I've never had a problem with these people one time ever. I bought from a few people over the years, but I really like APMEX. They treat you right. If you buy enough stuff, and I have bought a lot from these people, you get like on a special list. And you can get special deals and stuff like that. I know probably a lot of you out here have bought from APMEX. I hate pushing anybody, and I'm not doing that. But I do want to give a shout out to APMEX because they've always treated me well.
What up, Amex?
Yeah, American Precious Metals Exchange. Check it out. And really, honestly, they do the right thing. They've never done me wrong ever. In all the years I've been buying this, and I'm talking like, oh my God, a long time. Buying silver. I've been buying silver
like
since
American
it's $6.
Eagles, like American Silver Eagles.
You can buy those, sure.
I'm buying troy ounce silver ingots.
You can buy, and you
buy.
don't have to buy the fancy stuff. You can buy just like that. Just buy silver ingots are fine. There's no such thing as junk silver. I love silver. I could lay on a bed of silver. I want to lay you down on a bed of roses. The Bon Jovi song. I want to lay down on a bed of silver. Okay,
I go to the junk stores and I buy. If I find silver items, I buy it.
Buy it.
I buy it. I have stock loads of silver. Because
Yeah.
if I go to like an antique store and I'm like, man, this is a solid silver tray, or this is solid silver dining ware. I'm like, hey, do you know what you got here? No? Okay, scoop it up because that shit's getting melted down.
But it's hard to find out here. There's a couple
is.
of places out here, just real quick. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but there's a couple of places out here in Vegas I used to buy from. Like I would walk in, they don't even have silver anymore. It's like the moment it goes in, it gets bought by somebody. I haven't bought silver from a store out here in Vegas in like at least 6 months because they don't have it. It seems that the moment they get it, it just sells out. And sometimes if they do get it, they want like a ridiculous amount of money for them. So that's why I keep going back to APMEX, honestly, because I've never had a problem with them. They never try to, rake me over the coals, and they know me because I've been dealing with them for a long time. Nice. But anyway, it's hard to get silver these days. It seems to be. I don't know how anyone else's experience is, but going into a place is difficult.
So we've got won't sell in the market until bond yields invert. Buy the dip, buy the freaking dip. We know that's not freaking.
So really quick, I think there's a really good question in the chat I'd like to address. So JB Coin asks, if I buy a good scotch 15 or 18 year and hold it for 10 years, would you think I would be able to tell the noticeable increase in flavor? So here's the thing, JB. So unfortunately, alcohol, once it's bottled, does not continue to age.
Stop.
So once it's pulled from that barrel, you're actually halting any form of aging process. But if it is open and has exposure to oxygen, you're getting oxidation, which could be in a good or a bad way, which has potential to change the flavors in the bottle. So it's kind of hit or miss, but it's a really good question. We get asked that a lot, so definitely all about answering it.
Yeah, and he means antique bottles. That's a great question. I was asked that question the other day by a personal friend. They said, hey, I like to go estate sale shopping. I like to go to estate sales. And I've noticed a couple of times some antique bottles of bourbon, and I'll come across these antique decanters that have alcohol in them. Is it worth buying them? Or is there money in that? And of course I said, well, I guess that all depends. Yeah. It really depends on if you're hunting a specific thing and you find it, and B, if you trust that is what it is. Well,
hold on a second though. You also got to consider this, right? You don't know where this bottle comes from,
right?
So these old, well, I'm not saying old people, but wherever this was stored for the previous 30 years could have been on someone's windowsill in the Vegas heat, or
that's true.
It could have been a complete mess, or it could have been in a cabinet cellared properly between 60 and 70 degrees, and in the dark. But if this bottle was sitting on someone's windowsill exposed to the elements, it could be absolute garbage. And if the seal's broken and it's been oxidized and the cork's bad, then you're going to have another shit show on your hands. So you got to be very careful with buying stuff at like estate sales, garage sales. Personally.
I agree. I think if you can find some unopened bottles, like you find some unopened bottles of things that you have been looking for, and they look okay. You don't notice fading on any of the labels. It looks good. It's been kept in a box maybe. I think it would be worth a gamble every now and then, especially if the place looks nice, the people you're dealing with seem clean, seem nice. I think that that's cool. I think it'd be okay. I'm always personally very weary of dealing with open bottles. Even if it's from a friend, they're like, hey, I got this open bottle, take it. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. Even then, I'm still kind of weary about it. So especially with an estate sale, not knowing where it's coming from, I'd be a little weary. But if it's an unopened bottle, it looks like it's been boxed, and it looks okay. There's no fading. It doesn't look like it's been messed with. I think it's totally cool. That's just my answer on that.
Yeah, and some of the old school decanters look really cool. So if anything, just for their look alone, if you're a collector, if you want a really cool gift or something to display on your bar, by all means, get it. I mean, if you can get a good deal on something, each his own.
All right, real quick. We need a duh t-shirt. We hear you, and we are working on a duh t-shirt. And we're also working on Barrel Buddy t-shirts. That's a fact. James, when you get back, we got to get this done.
If we could do maybe a collaboration, maybe do like a Barrel Buddies duh shirt.
And a duh on the back.
Could be.
Yeah. That could be fun. We could do a little collaboration between the two.
I guess JB Coyne has been watching Greg for like 7 or 8 years. Good job, Greg.
Amazing.
JB Coyne is also dying about the peat and cat shit. Billy Walker, the distiller at Glenallachie, is a genius. Thank you, Redbeard. We agree with that, actually. Want to trump the cat shit? Crack open an Octomore 10.3. I don't know what that is. Suzanne says, Greg.
It's in your Octomore. Yeah, Octomore is pretty damn tasty.
Okay.
Scotch. It's back to the Scotch world.
Excellent. Suzanne saying, Greg makes what he does look easy, but educating investors takes patience. Much respect. Sherry whiskeys and dark chocolate, you should definitely try it. Oh, that's the Octomore. Excellent. Redbeard has found a Glenallachie 41 years.
Ooh.
We're interested.
Well, that's probably their single cask stuff. That's pretty pricey, but amazing, I'm sure.
John wants to know, Greg, do you own any acoustic guitars?
Acoustic guitars, I do own an acoustic guitar, but it's nothing fancy. It's an Ovation, which makes it kind of valuable, but it's nothing like a high value. As a matter of fact, the poor thing, I haven't even looked at it in probably about 6 months. I have a few old electric guitars. I like old Gibsons. But
I want a Les Paul.
I have a Les Paul. I have a 79 Les Paul Standard in like untouched original condition.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. We already talked about aging bottles. Shelly, good night. We talked about some bad corks, those cork soakers. Hello, Mrs. Askins.
Oh, yeah, watch out for those cork soakers.
Those cork soakers. Well, cork soakers are natural born. Keon the One says, I just invested in Gold Bar whiskey. Well, that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
You're not going to be sad about that.
That's good.
And wait till we introduce him to the black.
And the Rickhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Just got addicted to Stranahan's whiskey. Thank you, FX 4223. Aza Ramason says, inflation or deflation? Well, that's an easy question that I can answer. Inflation is not happening because hot dogs are cheaper than ever. Everything else is more expensive, but hot dogs are on an all-time low.
Costco chickens are still $5.
Yeah, you can still get a $4.99 chicken. Come on, it's fine. It's fine, right, Greg? There's no inflation.
It's contained. It's not widespread. Just remember that.
Also, Redbeard is challenging you, Greg. He says he thinks his AMG can keep up with your Hellcat at 120 miles per hour. I'll tell you, I've seen video recently of this guy drag racing his Hellcat, and I would tell you, I don't know about that.
Well, that did 117. It probably can go better. I don't know. That was my first run with it. I haven't really played with it too much, but wait till you see my new thing. I got something that's gonna knock people's socks off. I'm not even gonna let the cat out of the bag.
Keep that cat in the bag.
But it's going to be
cat in the bag.
leaves the house after the
crazy.
show.
Hat in the bags. All right, kids. Listen, this has been a fun time and definitely an odd style of show, but we're really glad that you were here for it.
Yeah.
So, for the Barrel Buddies, we're signing off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We've been really, really glad to have
Hey,
you.
wait 1 second. We didn't talk about the balls.
The balls?
The
I don't know
balls.
where the balls are at.
The
You
balls-
lost the balls?
No, the balls are
Someone stole them
safely.
during the 4th of July bash.
No, the balls are safely at home at my bar.
Oh, okay.
They're still for
Okay.
sale.
There's an investment for you.
For
Seriously.
Starting price is still, it's been set on this show at $5,000. The price has been set. If you can beat $5,000, DM us. You can also hit us up on Instagram at the Barrel
And we
Buddies.
accept Bitcoin and any other kind of crypto too.
We do.
Yeah, we'll take Eth, we'll take Doge, we'll take.
Yeah, anyway.
Would we take Doge?
Why
Yeah,
not?
I'll take Doge.
Why
Okay.
not? I own Doge.
Okay. No, Asia, I'm sorry. We really do have to call it quits. It's been 51 minutes, so it's time for us to call it an evening. I've been BJ. Joining us over the phone is
James, the one and only.
Jimmy, and our special evening guest, the Robin Hood of Wall Street, the one, the only, the man, Mannarino, Greg Mannarino.
Yes.
Listen, we're glad you're out there on this Whiskey Wednesday. Keep on popping bottles. Keep on sharing the good stuff. And until then, drink well
See you guys next week.
and be well.
See you later.
Good
Join us next
night.
week, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Same bad channel, same bad time.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
Oh, that was great.